For a very long time, we have been told one very simple story. Men hunted. Women stayed close to the fire. Men brought food back. Women waited. Men made history. And women quietly watched it happen. But that story is too small, because ancient women were never just background figures. They were not simply sitting still inside caves, waiting for someone else to fight for survival in their place. The survival of a tribe did not depend on one lonely hero holding a spear in his hand. It depended on the quiet work done every single day by everyone. And a large part of that work was carried by women. So, what did women actually do every day? To understand ancient women, we first have to forget one image, the image of food as only meat. A man throws a spear, an animal falls, the tribe survives. That did happen, but not every day, and not everywhere. Most days were not giant hunts. Most days were quieter. People needed food that could be found again and again. Roots, tubers, berries, seeds, nuts, honey, eggs, shellfish, small animals. Food that did not always look dramatic, but could keep a child alive. In many hunter-gatherer groups, women played a major role in this daily food supply. They walked out from camp, often together, often with children nearby. They searched for plants. They dug roots from the ground. They collected fruit when it was in season. They carried food back. Then they prepared it. Because finding food was only the first step. Some roots had to be cooked. Some seeds had to be crushed. Some plants had to be avoided. One mistake could make a person sick. So this was not simple work. It was not just picking things up from the ground. It was knowledge. It was memory. It was experience. Ancient women had to know where food grew, when it returned, how long it lasted, and how to make it safe to eat. That means survival was not only about the moment of killing, it was also about the daily skill of knowing how to feed people when there was no store, no farm, and no second chance. Another part of women's daily life was childcare. But we have to be careful with that word, because today, people often hear childcare and imagine someone staying behind, doing less important work. For ancient humans, that was not true. A child was not only a child was the future of the group. And keeping a child alive was difficult. There were no hospitals, no baby formula, no locked doors, no safe rooms, no soft beds. A small child could fall into fire, eat the wrong plant, walk too far from camp, get bitten, get sick, get cold, or cry at the wrong moment when the group needed to stay quiet. So watching children was survival work. Women carried babies while moving. They fed them, protected them, calmed them, taught them. They showed children what could be touched and what had to be avoided. They taught them where to walk, how to stay near the group, how to recognize danger, how to listen, how to wait. But ancient women were not doing this alone. Other women helped. Grandmothers helped. Older children helped. The camp helped. Childcare was not private, the way it often is today. It was shared. It happened around the fire, on gathering trips, near shelters, beside food preparation, and during movement from one place to another. So when we ask, what did women do every day? One answer is simple. They helped keep the next generation alive, not by one heroic act, but by thousands of small actions repeated every day until a helpless child became another person who could survive. Before writing existed, knowledge had to live inside people. There were no books, no maps, no labels, no instructions. If someone forgot where water could be found, the group could suffer. If someone ate the wrong plant, a child could die. If someone failed to read the season, food could disappear before they reached it. This is why ancient women were not only using their hands. They were using memory. They had to remember which plants were safe, which ones were bitter but edible, which roots had to be cooked first, which seeds could be crushed, which leaves could help with pain, which berries only appeared after rain, which trees attracted insects, which places had food after fire, which paths were dangerous, and which places were worth returning to. This kind of knowledge was not dramatic. It did not look like a hunt. It did not create a single exciting moment. But it protected the group every day. A woman who knew the land could help feed people when hunting failed. A woman who remembered plants could help avoid poison. A woman who understood seasons could help the group move at the right time. And this knowledge was not learned in one day. It was passed down slowly, from older women to younger women, from mothers to daughters, from grandmothers to children watching beside them. Every walk outside camp was also a lesson. Every plant collected was also a piece of memory. Every mistake avoided was another day survived. So when we ask what ancient women did every day, we should not only imagine work, we should imagine knowledge in motion. Because in a world without writing, a person's memory could become a map. A person's experience could become protection, and a woman's knowledge could keep an entire group alive. But there is one more part of the story that many people forget. Women did not only gather. Sometimes, women hunted too. Not always, not everywhere, and not in the same way in every group. But the old image is too rigid. The image says men hunted, and women never did. Real life was more flexible than that. In some groups, women caught small animals. They trapped birds. They collected shellfish. They helped drive animals toward hunters. They joined group hunts. And in some ancient burials, women have even been found with hunting tools. That does not mean every woman was a big game hunter. It means survival did not follow one simple rule. Ancient people were practical. If food was needed, and someone could help get it, they helped. A woman might gather plants one day, carry a child the next, prepare skins after that, and join a hunt when the situation required it. The work was not always fixed. The group had to adapt. Weather changed. Animals moved. Children got hungry. Hunting failed. Plants disappeared. So people used the skills they had. This is the real point. Ancient women were not trapped inside one role. They were part of a survival system. And in that system, the question was not always, is this a man's job or a woman's job? The question was much simpler. Can this help us live? Finding food was only the beginning. After food came back to camp, the work was not over. It often became harder. Roots had to be cleaned. Seeds had to be crushed. Nuts had to be opened. Meat had to be cut. Bones had to be cracked. Fat had to be saved. Skins had to be scraped. Firewood had to be gathered. Water had to be carried. Nothing was automatic. There was no kitchen. No knife set. No stove. No storage box. No clean table. Every meal required labor. And much of that labor was slow, repetitive, physical. A pile of seeds did not become food by itself. A dead animal did not become clothing by itself. A skin did not become protection by itself. Someone had to process it. Someone had to prepare it. Someone had to make it useful. This was one of the most important parts of women's daily work. They helped turn raw things into survival. Food became meals. Skins became warmth. Fibers became cord. Bones became tools. Plants became medicine. Small materials became something the group could actually use. This kind of work rarely appears in old stories because it does not look dramatic. There is no chase, no battle, no sudden victory. But without it, the hunt was incomplete. The gathering trip was incomplete. The camp was incomplete. Ancient survival was not only about getting resources, it was about transforming them. And every day, women helped turn the wild world into something human beings could live with. Ancient women did not work in isolation. Their work was connected to the whole camp. A woman gathering food was also watching children. A woman preparing plants was also teaching someone younger. A woman scraping a hide was also listening to what happened during the day. A woman feeding a child was also keeping the group's future alive. Nothing was separate. Food, fire, children, tools, clothing, memory, movement, safety. All of it touched everything else. This is why daily life in ancient groups was not like modern work. There was no office, no job title, no clear line between home and labor. The camp itself was the workplace. The fire was the center. The land was the storehouse. The group was the safety net. And women helped hold that system together. They shared food, shared knowledge, shared childcare, shared warnings, shared skills. If one person found a useful plant, others could learn it. If one child was in danger, many eyes could notice. If one family had less food, the group could still survive through sharing. This cooperation mattered because ancient humans were not the strongest animals. They were not the fastest. They did not have claws. They did not have thick fur. They survived because they worked together. And women were a major part of that cooperation, not from the edge of the story, but from the center of daily life. So what did women actually do every day? They helped keep people alive, not in one single way, but in many connected ways. They found food. They carried food. They prepared food. They watched children. They taught children. They remembered the land. They kept useful knowledge alive. They helped make clothing. They processed skins. They gathered firewood. They carried water. They repaired small things. They shared what they knew. And sometimes, they hunted too. This does not mean every ancient woman lived the same life. A woman near the coast might gather shellfish. A woman in a dry land might dig roots. A woman in a forest might know fruit trees and animal paths. A woman in a cold place might spend more time working on skins and warmth. Different lands created different work, but the pattern was clear. Women were not outside survival. They were inside it. Every day, ancient life was not built by one kind of labor. It was built by many. The spear mattered, but so did the digging stick. The fire mattered, but so did the hands that kept it alive. The hunt mattered, but so did the food gathered when the hunt failed. The child mattered, but so did the people who kept that child alive long enough to grow. So the old story is too simple. Men hunted, women waited. That is not enough. A better story is this. Ancient survival was a shared system, and women carried a large part of that system, quietly, daily, and constantly. They did not just watch history happen. They helped make sure there would be another day of history at all.